This is the Lamborghini Sian, and not only is it the company's most powerful car to date, it's also their first hybrid and could offer us a small glimpse into what the next Aventador may look like. Now you can pick up an Aventador for about £150,000 on yesauto.com, but a Sian will set you back a whopping £2 million. Now, is it worth the added price? Well, today we're going to find out. But before I get into the review, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more awesome videos just like this one. Let's go! Now, the Sian is based on the Aventador SVJ, but you wouldn't think of it just by looking at it because it gets a completely bespoke design. And that's what you should expect when they're only making 63 of them. Now, the thing I really love about this front end are the Y LED headlights. And when these are on, these just pierce. They are absolutely stunning. And that's all integrated into this beautiful carbon fiber structure around here with vents over the wheels. Now, a little bit further back, it wouldn't be a Lamborghini without a giant air intake, gloriously covered in carbon fiber. Look at that. You wouldn't want to drive and rev the engine down the street because you'd probably suck in most of the pedestrians. Now, it's not all about aggressive design. One of the things I really love about this are the small fins at the back. No giant rear wing, although we do have a movable section back here. You just have these small little fins which are inspired by 1960s racing cars, and I think they look gorgeous and, dare I say, quite subtle. Things get even more ridiculous at the back. Not only do we have the beautiful edge of these fins back here, but you also have these 3 brake lights, and we've got 3 on the other side as well. Now, you may wonder why Lamborghini's done that, because they usually go for ultra-thin LEDs. Well, the Sian is partly inspired by the Countach, and the Countach has 3 lights at the back, well, 3 either side. But it's even more bonkers. Just look at this massive Venturi tunnel. We've got carbon fiber around here, but this has a real 1960s racing car look to it. And of course, we've got the rocket launcher style exhausts, which blast out the sound of that glorious V12 engine. In fact, let's have a listen to that right now. Now, unlike an Aventador where you can just lift up the engine cover, on a Sian you actually have to take it off. But luckily it's made of carbon fiber, so it's nice and light. And that exposes this glorious 6.5 litre V12 engine. Now, it's the same one that you find in the SVJ, and by itself it churns out 774 brake horsepower. But what makes the Sian such a cool piece of kit is that it's connected up to a supercapacitor, and together the whole power output comes in at 808 brake horsepower. Now, what makes a supercapacitor so cool is that it's an energy store, and unlike a traditional hybrid or electric car which uses lithium-ion batteries, a supercapacitor is smaller, it's more compact, but Lamborghini says they can store up to 10 times more energy than the conventional battery. It's typical of Lamborghini to make ecotech sound cool. It's not just a hybrid, it's a supercapacitor. This really isn't a rebodied Aventador because the interior is completely bespoke to the Sian, and it is just so gorgeous in here. You've got this wonderful rose gold highlights in the center console with carbon fiber everywhere. And what isn't carbon fiber is this glorious tan leather. Now, of course, when you buy your Sian, it probably won't look like this at all because they're all custom made. Now, another new part of the Sian is this portrait infotainment screen, and not only does it look absolutely stunning with its own bespoke Sian graphics, but you actually have a section in it of where you can monitor the supercapacitor, which is quite distracting when you're driving because you really want to look at it. It's such a fascinating piece of kit, so you can see when it's recharging and then when it's giving you a bit of electric boost. I really, really like that. And just below it is a plaque that says 00D63, because while there's officially 63 production cars, this is number 00 and won't go to a customer. Generally speaking, the cockpit is really quite this cramped affair, but I don't really see that as a bad thing, because the Sian being based on an SVJ and being powered by a V12, it's kind of an old school car, and I feel like I'm in an old school supercar in here. And that's kind of where I think a lot of this car's charm comes from. Everything is kind of so easy to use now, and if you want that experience of driving a Countach or a Diablo, I think this gets pretty damn close. Looking out the windscreen, it's very raked and very, very thin, so actually seeing stuff is pretty challenging. And these side windows, while big, you can't really see behind you. But who cares? This is a £2 million hypercar. It looks cool, it sounds cool, and you're just going to have to hope that some of the other road users are going to give you a bit more space. I'm in a £2 million hypercar, of which there are only 63, and I'm in number 00. Now I'm on a test track at a super secret facility somewhere in England, and I'm on a road that replicates perfectly a good British B road. And the thing that stands out so much is that this thing is a big boy. It is massive. I can barely fit it in between the lines. This thing is so big that it is going to be a real nightmare to drive on a public road. And the visibility is dreadful. You can't see anything. But I don't care. I really don't. If you've got a car that sounds like this, then it really doesn't matter. So the hybrid system is actually used to fill in the torque gap between changing gears, and it solves one of the Aventador's biggest problems, the really jerky gear change. It's still a little bit jerky, but you know, the Sian, it may be advanced, it might have a supercapacitor, and that's a bit of a first in the car world, particularly the supercar world, but it still feels old school. Still feel like I'm driving a big V12 Brute. I just want to hear that engine again. Oh my God. That's the greatest downshift I've ever heard. Now I've driven my fair share of supercars, and there's nothing really that quite beats the feeling of a McLaren 720S in terms of sheer performance. And in a straight line, the 911 Turbo S is just ridiculous. In fact, if you click the link in the top right hand corner, you can watch my review of it and watch me get very scared while trying to do a launch in that car. But this thing, you know, the delivery of the torque is really smooth. So unlike a turbocharged car or a lot of hybrids that I've driven, where you just feel like you get a massive dump of torque over the front axle, this thing feels smooth. Now, because we've still got a glorious naturally aspirated engine with that hybrid system, it feels much more linear. It feels, in a sense, easier to drive and easier to manage. That being said, it is still 808 brake horsepower, and on a wet surface, it does feel a tad bit squirrely. You know, the ride's not too bad either, but I think you can probably tell it's very noisy in here. Also, we've got a lot of carbon fibre and the smallest of stone chips. Just, you can hear them clattering against the tub. again. I'm having quite a lot of fun here. What an incredible car. I really hope this gives us a look at the next Aventador, because there is a lot to look forward to. Bring on the electric future.